I had this idea for so long, I'm still working on it now, that I'm bad. Like, growing up, and like I said, in church where we're all told we're, sinners, and I have organized religion has its own place, and it works for some people, but for me, there were just these really underlying, very sad messages that I very much internalized.
Mm.
And I'm still like, that's one of my deep core beliefs that I carry around, that I'm working with, is I'm bad.
Mm.
And so I didn't have a chance to, I think, fully be me, like, without trying to fit into everybody's box around me, the idealized child, and not like the real child.
Yeah.
So I think now loving all the complexities of myself is such a challenge. I have to allow those messy parts of myself to have some playtime.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think that was, and I don't think a lot of people around me were aware of any of this. But those are the messages I received as a kid, and very much internalized that.
Those things that happen when we're kids are so influential, and they might not always be direct words, but they're just a feeling of like, maybe even you were going on tour, but you were off like playing with Barbies, or you were like on the swing set or something like that. And it was like, get back here. And so it's like, you're bad
Yeah.
because you're not doing whatever you're supposed to be doing. And those things
Yeah.
leave such deep, deep imprints. We obviously share a doctor, which is super fun. So I want to talk about that health stuff. As you said, you turn 40 and, you work on those things, and psoriasis. And I didn't know that. Is it fixed? And like, what have you learned about that? What have you learned in that realm? Because man, that's a giant rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah, it is a rabbit hole, and I feel like I keep going deeper and deeper down it, like, every day. Um, yeah, it's, I don't even know where to begin there.
Why'd you
You know,
call
I
like, why'd you
well,
get
I
in?
called Mindy because I wanted to work on my hormonal health. So I had I had been on birth control for years, as so many women are, and, yeah, it was awful. And, one day I decided to just take myself off of it, and I my body kind of went right back into its normal rhythms, but not really. Like, it was it was kind of a yes and no. I had periods, but then I don't think my all of my hormones were balanced and syncing up properly. And no one had ever taught me about hormonal health at all. Like, we're not taught any of these things as kids. And so, like I said, I knew going into 40 in this new decade, I know there's a lot of changes that we go through as women. I got on the phone with her. She's so funny because she's like, oh, sometimes when I work with celebrities, she's kind of like, I thought, I'm probably going to get on the phone with her and talk to her like for 45 minutes, and that'll be it. And then literally, I've been boxing, I box with her like every day. She's become like one of my dearest friends, and we found our way into each other's lives. And I honestly, I've never had someone walk me through health in such a profound way. And, it's gone from hormonal health to, healing my gut, to working on thyroid stuff, like, to, yeah, just figuring all the pieces of the puzzle out. And, I've discovered so much about my body that I didn't even know. And, having psoriasis from so young, there's so much inflammatory stuff there. And no, my psoriasis isn't, we haven't really gotten to the root of that, but I feel like through other things, we're getting to the root of what, might have triggered that as a child. So, um, yeah, you do open Pandora's box, and there's days when I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting so close to feeling, even better, and I've come so far. Like, I actually keep a list of little markers that I see of how I'm
Smart.
healing. And I just started doing that recently, because it's so easy to lose sight of
Yeah.
the tiniest of transitions that are happening. And yeah, I've come a long, long way in 8 months, and I'm still on that journey. So Yeah, I wanna feel good in my 40s.
I mean, I had this
Oh.
goal, I was gonna, like, look and feel my best when I turned 40, and instead it was the fucking opposite, and I'm like, "Oh god." I mean, truly the opposite. What's made the biggest difference?
Well, I have to say one of the biggest things, I have a oxygen chamber here in the house, and that's changed me a lot. I can tell a difference in my brain, I can tell a difference in my mood. It's definitely a game changer for me, especially when I come off the road, like to just try to get back into balance and back into normal life. So that's one of the most profound pieces. And we now have a sauna here, which I'm really digging the sauna. Like that when you start learning about, like, I've learned about all the neurotransmitters, and when you start learning about what does what, and I'll be in a bad mood and I'll get in the sauna, and 40 minutes later I'm like, oh, I feel a lot better. Like all the serotonin and dopamine and everything starts to, like,
Wait till you get the cold plunge too. I just finally got mine delivered, and I was in it for about 5 minutes after the sauna today, and my body was numb after that. It's 45 degrees is what I've decided to set it at. And like then like as the blood comes back, it's like just blotchy, like your whole skin is like looks like you've been sunburned, but somehow patching back together again. But yeah, those things can be super powerful. I have a hyperbaric as well. And God damn it, I just can't get my ass in that thing. I am
it's
just
It's hard. It's hard. You know what the trick for me has been is going in it even for like 20 minutes at a time,
oh,
because that that was a Mindy trick. Mindy's like, because I was the same way. I'm like, I'm so anxious in this damn thing. She's like, just pop in there 20 minutes at a time. And so 20 minutes became like 45 minutes. And then 45 minutes sometimes is like an hour. And then I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. So I do
right.
it in the morning, first thing when I get up. So I'm not like, I don't have a lot of energy running through my body. And that seems to be my key to at least getting in there every day.
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Just get in there for 20 minutes, which basically means pressurize and depressurize. And
Right. It's true.
you talked about anxiety, and I know that that's a part of your life. And like I'm curious, like I feel like we go down a pretty deep dive on just the mental side of things, and just where did that come from, and do you know where that stems from? Because this is an area of life I'm really interested in, and I really want to understand better, because I'm a bit of a firsthand learner, and I've
Mhm.
had a couple times, like 3 or 4 times, actually about 3 times in my life, I felt true anxiety because I knew I couldn't escape the thought. It was like you
Mhm.
couldn't choose a good thought. It was like heart racing more. Um, and actually, when I was doing such heavy detoxing with Mindy, we were
Oh,
doing
that's
like
whew.
2 full dropperfuls of that like blood brain barrier stuff a day,
Oh, yes.
doing like suppositories
Is that
every night.
Cido?
Yeah, Cyto. I was doing
Oh,
Cyto,
phew.
2 full droppers a day,
Oh my god.
suppositories every night,
Yes.
and like every other like pill and every other modality, including like red light and the
Yep.
hyperbaric and the sauna and like I just stacked a million things. And I finally hit a wall because she said, let me know how your mood's doing. And I've just got
Ooh.
this like weird resiliency. And I was like, fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was literally depressed. And
Yeah.
so I kind of just stopped doing everything. But it's such everybody, pretty much everybody will deal with it on some level, but some, of course, deal with it on a really regular basis. And I just have so much
Mhm.
empathy. What's been your excavation of that energy?
Ooh, there's so many things. Funny thing about Saito, I actually, I'm of that thought. If one works, then two must be great. So, right? And so she's like, just do like 5 drops of Saito to, like, slow. And then I'm like, 1 dropper full, and I was in the fetal position because it was all that mercury. It was like coming out of me, which mercury causes so much anxiety. Which I at one point had a heavier mercury load, which was definitely feeding that. So yeah, I feel you on the Saito. I I think there's multiple sources. I actually just went to Dr. Amen and did the whole brain
What'd you
scan.
think? How would you think?
I was fascinated. It was very interesting. It's very interesting to see my brain. I have like zero dopamine going on when I'm not taking. I take medication for it's called Vyvanse, which is a stimulant. Because at one point, I basically get into these freeze states of low depression and where I can't move, and so I take a very low dose of it to get me out of it. And he did a brain scan, one on it and one off of it, and off of it I have like zero dopamine. So I think when my dopamine pathways were being created as a child, I was wearing those things out left and right. And so my body just doesn't right now doesn't create it on its own. So the medication actually really helps.
If you like this clip and you want to hear the whole episode, click at the bottom of your screen.